is Valley News Live at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Big changes are coming to your forecast, including the first sighting of a first alert weather day in a while. For details, let's send it straight over to Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Thanks so much, Stacy. As we take a look outside in the Grand Forks area, we have gray skies, a few showers, and even some rumbles of thunder on this night. And we do have first alert weather days to talk about. But first, this evening, if you're in the Southern Valley, we have a batch of showers and recent lightning strikes there in northwest portions of Minnesota, extending right along the Highway 11 corridor from Cavalier to Hallock and all the way from Carlstad right up to War Road. Some heavier showers, and they're staying put. They're not moving anywhere too fast, so some beneficial moisture out of them nonetheless. Spotty sprinkles that are just going to clip the southern reaches of the metro area here. Sabin, you'll have a better chance, as will Barnesville. And heading into the Breckenridge area is a batch of showers. Most of us have cloudy skies, temperatures well above average for this time of the year. Some cooler showers up north causing your temperatures to fall just a bit in Roseau to 63. First alert weather days, so you can kind of have time to prepare about some cold weather heading our way. Thursday into Friday morning, many of us will be in the 20s. We're talking about a hard freeze. I'll have details in your hour-by-hour forecast on that. And we'll track another chance of some showers in the near forecast period here in a minute.
All right, a lot going on. Thanks so much, Hutch.
You bet.
Tonight, VNL is investigating after a 2021 internal investigation has come to light involving a nude photo sent by a lieutenant with the Cass County Sheriff's Office to a fellow deputy. Lieutenant Tommy Ray received a letter of reprimand from the sheriff and apologized to the deputy shortly after sending the photo. The news of the investigation came this morning after a mass release to local media, but Valley News Live has since learned the only person to have access to these reports is Sheriff Jesse Johner's opponent in next month's election, Matt King. We reached out to King for comment. We have not yet heard back. The internal investigation by Cass County Sheriff's officials, as well as a review by the Cass County State's Attorney's Office, found that Ray did not violate any criminal or federal laws, but did use bad judgment by using his department-issued cell phone in this manner. A 4-month DEA investigation into drug trafficking in North Dakota has resulted in the seizure of more than 11,000 fentanyl pills. DEA officials say the bust is tied to one case investigated as part of their One Pill Can Kill initiative. 3 have been arrested so far for their involvement. Authorities say other drugs, including meth, marijuana, and morphine pills, were also seized in the bust. In 2021, almost 108,000 people died from drug poisoning or overdose, 66% attributed to opioids like fentanyl. A Hunter, North Dakota man is being held at the Cass County Jail after he allegedly sexually assaulted and beat a young girl over the weekend. 41-year-old James Massey is charged with gross sexual imposition and child abuse. He could face the rest of his life in prison without parole if he's convicted on the GSI charge. Investigators were called to a home in Hunter Saturday morning where a 12-year-old girl was saying she'd been raped and assaulted by Massey the night before. He'll be seen again in court next month. A man is fighting for his life at a local hospital after being shot in the chest at close range Friday night in downtown Fargo. The shooter, 24-year-old Schuler Ferguson, turned himself into police hours after the incident. He's now being charged in court with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and terrorizing. Police were called to the 600 block of Main Avenue Friday night after reports of a shooting during a fight between 2 people who knew each other. Ferguson had a pistol with those he thought was originally a BB gun. Police say he started dry firing the gun around the apartment. One man got upset and punched Ferguson in the neck. Court documents say Ferguson then loaded a magazine into the gun and fired 1 round into the victim's chest. A Fargo man has been sentenced to more than 10 years in prison after stabbing a woman back in February. 28-year-old Tyler Molnar pleaded guilty to attempted murder, aggravated assault, and theft. And this morning, a Cass County judge sentenced Molnar to 20 years in prison. He'll be eligible for parole after 13 years. In the February 12th incident, a flood of witnesses called police after they say they saw a woman jumped out of a red van on 42nd Street South while the van was moving about 30 miles per hour. When police arrived, they say they found the victim, quote, bloody and hysterical. Court documents say the victim was sleeping in the van when Molnar started yelling at her and threw her phone out the window. He then stabbed her in the shoulder and the back. North Dakota's Information Technology Department plans to hire a company to begin efforts in recovering more than 20 years of Wayne Stingem's emails. The emails were deleted days after he died in January. NDIT told the state auditor's office in August they'd exhausted efforts of the emails from Microsoft, but communication between NDIT and Microsoft shows otherwise.
NDIT is asking for Microsoft to write a formal letter saying that Wayne Stingem's account was no longer available. A security and compliance specialist from Microsoft responded back to NDIT saying just because an account is deleted does not mean the data is gone.
The findings about these emails was part of a larger investigation by the auditor's office into a $1.7 million overrun by the Attorney General's office for a new building. The findings were turned over to the AG's office. We'll now ask an outside agency to do a separate investigation. A heads up for our later shows, we'll have new information tonight on the Enderlin School District's bus that crashed into the Maple River on September 23rd. Stick with us as our newsroom is following this developing story for Valley News Live at 9 and 10. It's time to relax for the 90-plus veterans who are in Washington, D.C. taking part in the latest honor flight from North Dakota and Minnesota. From sunup to sundown, they aren't wasting time. Valley News Team's Mike Morkin is there trying to keep up. He joins us live now from their hotel. Mike?
Hello, Stacy, and hello to everyone back in the Red River Valley. I am at the Hyatt in Crystal City, which is near Arlington, which is near Reagan National Airport, which is near all of the monuments and the memorials that we've either seen or will be seeing as we continue to tour the nation's capital. The honor flight veterans are in the Potomac room right now, and we stepped outside because after the dinner they have been entertained by some entertainers from Washington, D.C. who are here and singing some of the old songs that they may have heard while they were serving during their military time, either in the Vietnam, Korean, or even in the case of a couple of World War II veterans. We've had a wonderful time here, including today's activities, which involved a stop at Arlington National Cemetery. There we watched a beautiful ceremony of the changing of the guard, very uplifting and very moving. But we also had the chance afterwards to talk to one of the guards on duty. He's a part of what's called the Old Guard. And he says that he's very much focused as to what he's doing, but he's also very much aware that there are many veterans in the audience that are watching his every move.
So as far as what goes through my head, it's a very empowering and moving time. Having honor flights out here, particularly in the summertime when it gets really busy with honor flights, it gets pretty difficult being one of the guards because we know that we're representing what all of the veterans have done before. For example, the return from Vietnam, there wasn't a lot of open arms on the return from Vietnam and everything. So one of the things I make a note to do when I'm talking to Vietnam vets when I'm out there ceremonially is when I'm interacting with them during a wreath ceremony is I'll always say, welcome home.
It was very special for him to come out and chat with not only myself, but also many veterans who are gathered here on this honor flight. For that young man and the others, which now include women, they are on duty 24 hours a day at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It's a very distinguished and honorable mission that they accomplish, and they do it well. It was very interesting and very cool to see. Our coverage is going to continue. In fact, we've got one more day to go here in Washington, D.C., and we hope that you'll be joining us, if not only live here on Valley News Live, but we'll also be doing reports at various times during the day, as well as on our Facebook page. So for now, live from our nation's capital, Mike Morkin, Valley News Live.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike, for that live report. And like you said, Mike will be up early tomorrow, bringing you more live coverage of the honor flight during the Valley today. We're looking forward to that. Later here at 6, football and head injuries. What's the procedure to follow up and how do you care for them? We take a look.
Typically this time of the year, our thermometers top out in the low to mid 60s. We were in the 70s in Fargo. We were in the 70s in Grand Forks. Tracking a few showers and a few rumbles of thunder this evening. More of that in your forecast and mighty cold changes to talk about as well. First Alert weather days for later this week. Details next.
This is Valley News Live.